Hello, everybody. Dean the Autist here, and I took a break yesterday, and I figured I'm going to marathon today. So, anyways, also, if you hear any children, basically, relatives are still here. So, yeah, that's gonna be a bit wild, I guess. So, yeah. Um, let's press MA. Alright. Are you absolutely sure? Why do I feel like the volume went up? You don't want to go ahead and adjust it before heading up the stairs? It could get hurt if you don't, right? I said it was fine, Azal. Seriously, don't worry about it. I've got some experience in these matters after all. Yeah, I suppose so. Emmy grins reassuredly. Honestly, Hazal, I appreciate the concern, but I really am okay. Now I really need to get going. Your attempts to keep me around are doomed to fail. Heh. Of course. Just prolonging the goodbye, I suppose. Another grin lights up Emmy's face. Good night, Azal. Good night. As she limps inside, I find myself hoping she's okay, despite her assurances that she's fine. I think I can call this a successful first date. Hell, any day that ends with Emmy pinning me under a tree to kiss me can't be that bad, can it? I head back to my room, mentally thank the gods that Kenji doesn't ambush me in the hallway, and get started on my homework. I remember something and forgot it, so I don't know, probably not that important. The morning is far too early for my taste. It doesn't help that I had trouble sleeping last night. There were simply too many things to think about, and my mind refused to slow down. Instead, I replayed the rooftop, the park, and everything else over and over in my mind. There's a small part of my mind that is still paranoid that this has all been some kind of joke, that I'll meet up with Emmy at the track and she'll act like nothing happened yesterday. Pushing these thoughts to the back of my mind, I throw on my running shoes and open the door. Emmy is waiting for me with her usual smile. You're late. Or at least, you're not early today. Are you tired or something? I find myself ruefully rubbing the back of my head. Something like that, yeah. Lots to think about and all that. Emmy giggles at my mild understatement. Yeah, I didn't sleep that well either. I was actually glad you weren't early, because I wasn't early either. I wonder if the same thing kept us awake. The image of her weeping face passes through my mind. What kept you up? Emmy's expression falters, but she quickly notices my curiosity and forces a smile. Nothing important. She's obviously not telling me something. The question is, should I press the issue? Something's clearly been bothering her for a while. I want to help her. But would it just come off as me being nosy? She's got to know I care about her, though. Are you sure? If something's bothering you, I'm here to help you sort it out. Emmy laughs then. But it's not her usual laugh. There's an edge to it that seems almost bitter. Sort it out? I'm not sure it can be sorted out, Hazal. An almost grim smile crosses her lips. It's like a smile of resignation. Yeah, she's probably thinking about her dad or something. I don't think you could help me anyway. That hurts. I don't want to say that it hurts to her, but it does. Doesn't she realize I want to be there for her when things go wrong? Well, I won't push you on the matter. But I'm here for you if you decide later that you'd like to talk about it. It might help. I can see the debate raging behind Emmy's eyes. It seems like she wants to tell me, but she's not sure whether or not she can. Hey, forget about it for now, okay? We've got running to do. My mention of running, something that she can handle, brings Emmy back to her usual self. Right. Hurry up and stretch out, Azal. We've got to get moving. She takes off like a shot, far quicker than I'm used to. Still, I try to keep pace with her, recklessly testing my limits. It gives me a feeling of freedom. like my heart is no longer important. I find myself wanting to laugh, filled with the feeling of moving beyond what I once called my boundaries. The nurse's warnings to not overdo things echo in my mind, and I disregard them. This feeling I have, this willingness to risk a heart attack for something so trivial as a morning run, feels out of character for me. But is it? Okay, so something just happened on my monitor. Okay, it's still recording. Okay, that was weird. But is it? Hold on. Or rather, should it be? Okay, keyboard's working, mouse is working. Okay, that was weird. Or rather, it should be. I've got a weak heart, sure. It'll never be capable of the kind of speed and endurance Emmy's capable of. Though I probably wouldn't be able to get that good even if I had a healthy heart. As we round the final bend, I feel my legs screaming in protest. But for the first time, I ignore them. I accelerate to finish at a sprint, nearly catching up to Emmy. That was never going to happen, of course. Still, I feel surprisingly good. Oh sure, my legs feel like they're about to catch on fire. And I'm having trouble staying upright. But there's been a shift of some sort today. And it's all thanks to the girl grinning at the finish line waiting for me. That felt a little faster than usual. My comment is met with a grin and a shrug. Can't have you think I was going to go soft on you now, can I? But you managed to handle it just fine. Well, I couldn't have done it without you. Still, feeling the high from the run and moved by a surge of gratitude, I seize Emmy in a hug. Thanks. Really, I'm not just saying that. I'm in your debt. Emmy seems flustered by my words, squirming uncomfortably. Don't be silly, Hazal. Someone had to haul you out here, didn't they? And it's not like you're not doing anything for me, right? I needed a running partner, remember? I shake my head, still pointedly not letting go of Emmy, who stops squirming and merely looks up at me with a quickly deepening blush that almost feels out of character. No, that's not true. You wanted a running partner, but you didn't need one. If I hadn't shown up the day after the festival, you would still run, right? But it doesn't work the other way around. I only managed to make out a few things, to make it out a few times before the festival, and without you, I probably wouldn't have made it out at all after that. Emmy smiles at me and prods my chest with one finger. You are pretty lazy, Hazal. Hey, I was giving you a compliment. Well, you're welcome, I guess. I'll pay you back somehow. Oh, well, that's not necessary, you know. I mean, I kind of like you, Hazal. And being able to run with you in the mornings isn't exactly a bad deal for me either, so... For someone who gets so much praise, she seems unused to gratitude. I can't think of anything else to say, so we fall silent. I become aware of Emmy's breathing and the dampness of her clothing, and of the scent of her. Coming off anyone else, it would stink. Coming off of Emmy, it fits her in a way nothing else could. Her skin is cool, slick with sweat, and a breeze causes goosebumps to rise. Almost without thinking about it, I lean down and meet Emmy's mouth, which has already moved to meet my own. Her lips are soft, and she hums happily as we kiss, sending vibrations from her mouth to mine. There's a startling rightness to everything about this moment. We fit one another perfectly. The kiss ends, and I finally let my arms drop to my sides. Emmy is smiling warmly at me and giggles again. Come on, Azao. We better go see the nurse. Then it happens. As she turns and begins walking, she gives out a tiny yelp and stumbles forward. Emmy! I leap steadily... Oh, wait. I leap to steady her and notice with some concern that she's favoring the same leg as last night. Your leg. Emmy seems panicked and pushes away from me. It's fine. My expression must seem hurt, because she hastens to apologize. Sorry. Didn't mean to push you like that. I was just... She stumbles for something to say. It's nothing, really. Hey, don't worry about it. She's so flustered, I decide to shrug the whole thing off. But there's a cold feeling in the pit of my stomach now that won't go away. I tried to step in and help her, but she pushed me away. Smiling, I shove those thoughts to the back of my mind and concentrate on Emmy. I just don't want you getting hurt, that's all. You don't have to worry about me, honest. I'm fine. Yes, you can say that, but I don't believe you. Why wouldn't you tell me what's wrong? It's like she gets offended by my trying to help. What am I supposed to make of that? I'm still trying to sort out what happened on the track as we arrive in front of the nurse's office. Emmy raises her hand to knock, hesitates, and turns to me, smiling guiltily. Hey, can you do me a favor? Of course. Can you tell the nurse that I'll see him later? I just remembered that I've got some stuff to take care of before class. So I really need to get moving. I peer at her closely, and she fidgets under my stare. Yeah, she's clearly just avoiding the nurse. That leg of hers. Well, whatever. I said I'd help, and so I will. But I'll make damn sure that she sees the nurse before the day's out. Yeah, okay, I'll let him know. Emmy looks like I've just given her a pony on Christmas. Thank you so much. You're the best, Azal. I am rewarded for my complicity in her lie by a kiss that makes it all worth it. Or so I tell myself. As Emmy heads out of the building, trying hard to not let her limp show, I knock on the door of the office. Ah, Hazao, come on in. I don't see Emmy with you. She's not sick again, is she? From the tone of his voice, I don't think the nurse is expecting me to say, yes, she's ill. She said that she'd forgotten to do something, and so she had to skip out, but she'll see you later today. The nurse heaves an exasperated sigh. Honestly, that girl. She's been avoiding me. Yesterday, she was in and out of here without even taking off her prosthetics. And now this. Well, at least it's not just me. At least it's not just me that Emmy doesn't want worrying. I feel like this is wrong, but whatever. That's a comfort, I guess. Still, I feel like I should say something about her leg. I said I'd lie for her, but she really needs to see him. Now that you mention it, she was limping pretty badly today. And last night as well. The nurse's eyes narrow at the words, last night. And what exactly were you two doing last night? We were, on a date? The nurse raises his eyebrows, as if surprised. Really? Interesting. Huh? Oh, nothing. His gaze turns thoughtful, and then he grins at me. You don't think you could use some of that, boyfriend charm to get her to come see me today, could you? Of course. I was planning on doing that anyway. I think she's really hurt and just pretending she isn't. Yes, she does that. I'm afraid I'll make her stop running. Afraid I'll make her stop running? Will you? I don't like to, but if it's bad enough that she's been limping, well, I guess I'll have to see what's wrong for myself before I make that call. I see. Emmy not allowed to run. Perish the thought. I don't know if she'd be able to function without running. No wonder she's reluctant to admit anything's wrong. Well, I'll make sure she sees you. Good. Oh, and before I forget, he grins at me again, in what feels like a vaguely threatening manner. Don't forget that I know what medications you're on. You be careful around Emmy, got it? Wow, he looks serious too. Got it. Don't hurt Emmy. Wouldn't dream of it. Grand. I'd hate for you to be late. Huh? Late as in the late Hazao Nakai. He frowns briefly, dissatisfied. Oh yeah, talking about his owl fucking dying. And it sounded better in my head. Yeah, like whatever. Well, at any rate, get out of here before you miss your first class. You've got things to do, I'm sure. Shoot! As I leave, I notice the nurse pulling out his phone and dialing a number. Mako, your daughter's being a pain in the ass again. I'd better head back to my room, or I really will be late. I mean, I like the nurse. Like, he's pretty funny. But, like, as a professional, he isn't, like... Anyways. Hey, wasn't he supposed to check my heart rate? Whoops. Yeah, Hazao just keels over. God damn it, the one day I don't check his heart, he dies! Alright, the lunch bell sounds and I bring myself out of the stupor. And out of the stupor I slipped into during the morning's classes. My lack of sleep last night, coupled with the increased pace of this morning's run, has left me a little exhausted. Despite that, I find myself skipping stairs up to the roof. There's a thrill of excitement now, in addition to the pleasure one gets from eating lunch with one's friends. True, both Emmy and Rin are still my friends, but Emmy has become more than that now. Rin is back in her usual spot on the roof, almost as if she's never been absent. Feeling better, I take it? I raise an eyebrow. Oh wait, a raised eyebrow is my reward for speaking. Better than what? Better than you felt yesterday? Rin gives my question some serious thought. I'm not sure. I think I might have felt rather good for some of yesterday, but it's all fuzzy. Too much cold medicine? Well, I was asleep, and that is usually pretty good. But I can't remember what it feels like to be asleep because I'm not conscious for it. It's a real problem. Then again, if I knew how good it felt, I might not sleep anymore. But this way I keep trying, so I guess that's how I can keep from being overtired. An eternal mystery to keep you sleeping at night. Maybe mystery is the wrong word. Intangibility might be the proper way to describe it. I see. No, I don't see it at all. I have no idea what she's talking about. But that's okay, since I rarely do. Do you remember what sleeping feels like? Like yesterday, do you remember what you felt like sleeping yesterday? Well, I actually didn't get a lot of sleep yesterday. Maybe that's because you remember subconsciously. Actually, I think I was worrying about Emmy. Doesn't Emmy worry enough about herself? I hadn't considered that, but it gives me pause. True, but would she ask for help if she needed it? Rin frowns, and I raise an eyebrow. Will I get a proper answer? Probably not. Is there something she should be asking for help with? Her leg, for starters? This seems to catch Rin's interest. Leg? It's hurt, but she won't see the nurse about it. Rin shakes her head in disapproval. You have to make her. Like, she makes me go to class for her own good. Otherwise, she can lose her legs again, but that's just too weird. Losing things twice. Especially if you don't find them again to begin with. Useless prosthetics are the same as finding something. But that's a different kind of lost, isn't it? I think so? I wonder. Wonder what? Emmy seems to have snuck up on Rin and me. Though Rin doesn't seem especially surprised. Which itself, unsurprising, I suppose. Rin manages to sit herself upright, quite expertly, throwing her upper body forward and using her momentum to right herself. Your leg. How's it feel? That earns me a frown and a bit of a glare. It's okay, I think. Not worth worrying about. Tell that to the nurse. He's quite insistent that you visit him, you know. Emmy pouts like I've just told her she's been grounded. He worries too much. It's not a big deal, just a little soreness. I try to resist rolling my eyes in exasperation. If it's nothing, then you should have no problem seeing him, right? Emmy narrows her eyes suspiciously. Did he put you up to this? Well, maybe. A little. But that's not the point. I would have reminded you to see him anyway. It would be terrible to see you really hurt and not doing anything about it. That would make it worse. And I don't really want to see you hurt, you know? Call me crazy, but I would kind of prefer to see you happy and healthy. With each statement, Emmy's frown fades a little more, until eventually she's grinning, albeit a little shyly. Well, if you're gonna put it that way, I guess I'll have to see him. Otherwise, you'll keep worrying, and then I'll never hear the end of it, right? That's right. I'll keep bugging you about it, and that might put a damper on our dates. How's the food is out? Talk to the nurse, Emmy! Talk to the nurse! Ah. How's your day, Hazal? Talk to the nurse, Emmy! Hazal, I think I'm ready to go all the way. Talk to the nurse, Emmy! See, it doesn't work that well. Emmy giggles at my high-pitched rendition of her own voice and gives me an affectionate shove. You see, my voice, the Deen the Autist voice, my real voice, I can't go that high. So I'm struggling here. I'm struggling, man. My voice isn't that high, jerk. I thought it was pretty accurate. Emmy and I stare at Rin for a while before I burst into laughter. Emmy crosses her arms and huffs, mock offended. You're both jerks. Such vile calumnies from you, young woman. I'm stunned that you would call me, of all people, a jerk. Honestly, I don't know what to think. Emmy sticks her tongue out at me. You ass. So Rin, how's the art club these days? Rin, seemingly as surprised by the sudden change of topic as I am, takes a minute to think before answering. Yeah, if I remember correctly, art class is certainly something in this game. I'm not gonna say though. I believe it is okay. Although Nomiya keeps telling me to work harder. Yeah. Plus, if you remember, Mutuo is like, you could try to get the plywood from Nomiya's cold dead hands! Anyways. But I don't think he understands my methods. He always struck me as slightly creepy. Yeah, we haven't seen him yet, but this is absolutely correct. Rin ponders this statement for a while. I never really notice, but I don't pay much attention to him on most days, so maybe that's why. How often do you meet? Thinking of joining Hazal? What? Nah, I've already decided to join a club. Really? Which one? Well, it's not really much of a club, to be honest. Oh, you joined the Tea Club? No, I joined the Science Club, I think. Emmy looks highly confused. We have a science club? Not really. It's just me. Hazal, that's not a club. That's sitting in your room reading books. No, I mean, it's just me and Mutuo. I'm the only student so far. Mutuo? Really? A thought strikes her. Oh. Is that what you were talking about yesterday? Your meeting with Mutuo? Yeah, that was our first meeting, I guess. Emmy giggles. Nerd. Hey, I can't help being clever. You know, I could have used your help years ago. You should have had your heart attack earlier in life, Hazal. I laugh and then realize this is only one of the rare times I laughed about my heart attack. Yeah, like, you know, at first it's very painful. It's like, ah, But then, like, you know, as time passes and, like, you know, you grow, like, you know, you heal, you grow out of the pain and stuff like that. Like, you can joke about it just fine. Like, that, I think that happens to most people. Whether it's, like, trauma or, like, grievous injuries or, like, some sort of health issue. I think it's something... It's good to, like, joke about it because it shows healing and growth. And, yeah. People are like, no, you can't joke around about injuries and stuff like that. Motherfucker, if I had my arm chopped off, yeah, sure, it would be a bit rough for, I imagine, like, months to, like, possibly a few years. But then I would be like, oh, hey, I missed... just attach a hook to my stub here. Anyway. So, like, it isn't that bad. I mean, it is bad. Don't get me wrong. But, like, you know, whatever. People are too sensitive these days. Hindsight. Yeah. I'm gonna be captain of the Autismo Pirates. We're going to find the One Piece. The ringing of the bell ends our conversation. I guess we'd better go. Yeah, I guess so. Come on, Rin. You too. Rin has apparently begun to doze off, so Emmy gives her a sharp bump. I almost had it. Sorry, but you need to go to class. I disagree, but maybe if I nap in class, I'll get it this time. Changing locations is helpful for that kind of thing. Neither Emmy or I bother what asking it is. We arrive at my classroom. Emmy gives me a quick kiss and heads down the hallway, Rin in tow. I turn to enter the classroom to be met by the duo of Shizune and Misha. Misha seems to be fighting a losing battle to keep from breaking into a fit of giggles, while she translates Shizune's latest rant. While we are pleased, nay thrilled, to see how you've managed to make new friends and forge relationships, and with just a cutie too, Hee-chan. I think that last part was probably Misha. We nevertheless feel compelled to remind you that public displays of affection are strictly forbidden. Really? That's just disappointing, Chi-chan. By Section 8 of the Code of Conduct laid out in the student handbook, no PDA! No PDA! Like some kids just walking around the hallway, you know, like hand-holding with his girlfriend. No PDA! And so some like hall monitor just like runs up to them, tries to like break them apart like violently and physically. What I'm picturing is like some quarterback-looking motherfucker just running down the hallway, just screaming. Sorry, I'm sorry. Imagine like, okay. Imagine, right? High school jock that cares so much about rules that he becomes a hall monitor and enforces the no PDA rule very strictly. Okay, I'm sorry. In this case, however, ignorance of the law may be your excuse, as we are feeling lenient. And the paperwork required to punish the both of you would only add to the already mountainous volume of work which confronts us, the sole members of the student council. And besides, you two are adorable together. Therefore, consider this a formal warning, and please refrain from such displays in the future, at least when Shizune can see you, Hee-chan. This whole spiel is so patently ridiculous that I can't help but reply in the same pompous manner. Well, I for one feel enlightened. I apologize profusely for my rash actions, and will strive to contain my baser impulses, which I fear impel me towards such an inappropriate displays of public affection. It is hardly my wish to burden an already overworked student council with such petty matters, and I will do my best to make your lives easier in this matter in the future. At least, when Shizune's watching. This this last line is delivered with a wink to Misha, who finally loses control of her laughter. Well said, Hee-chan. Chuckling a little myself, we entered the classroom. Class is uneventful, and after the final bell rings, I find myself alone with Mutuo again. So it looks like we've all assembled for the second meeting of the Science Club. Or is it the first? What do you think? Should we count yesterday as a meeting? Well, we did form the club yesterday, didn't we? That seems like club business, so we can safely call yesterday a meeting. Mutuo smiles in his usual stilted and awkward way. I wonder if the muscles in his face are not shaped correctly to let him smile naturally. You really do have a knack for this, I think. Logical thought processes, that is. I guess so. A scientist speaks with authority, Azao. The answer here is, yes, I do. When the world wants to know how it works, we tell it. Even if all we've got is a decent hypothesis. But we must sound certain anyway, because we're the authorities on the subject, right? He chuckles to go along with his awkward smile at his awkward joke. I'm doing my best to not grimace, but I think I'm being too successful. That's entirely false, of course. We know a lot, sure. But nobody's an expert on how the world works, if only because nobody can be sure. With no certainty, there are no experts. But we like to pretend, sometimes. There's some things we can be certain of, right? Yes, but no. We know gravity's there, for example. To illustrate, Mutuo picks up a pencil and drops it. See? Still there. But it's good to check every once in a while. That's why you'll still see researchers mucking about with gravity. We're pretty sure we know how it works, but there's always a chance that something isn't how we think it is. So you check, and check, and check, and check, and check, and check, and check. Okay, I'm done. That's science in a nutshell, is out. The whole time I've listened feeling rather spellbound. Mutuo seems to really be passionate about this stuff. I think. It's hard to tell sometimes. Look, I mean, like, the dude made, like, a club, right, with you. Like, he's talking about science, and I think he's pretty passionate about it. How humans work. How the universe works. All these questions to be answered. And depending on what I go into, maybe I can figure out a way to fix my heart. That said, I don't think that's a real priority for me. Besides, as we start discussing the book he gave me yesterday, I find myself more and more interested in that than my heart condition. Before we even realize it, an hour's gone by. Well, let's call this meeting over for now, okay? We'll have another meeting tomorrow or the day after. He considers this for a moment. Call it the day after. I've got a lot of grading to do. Okay, see you then. As we exit the classroom, I realize that I don't really have anything to do tonight. Emmy and I didn't make plans, so I guess I'll go to the library. It beats doing homework in my room anyway. The library always seems cooler than the rest of the building. Probably to keep the books from getting damaged by excessive heat and humidity. The books are sturdy objects, but if you want to keep them in good condition, it takes a little effort. I've got several books that are so well worn the pages are barely clinging to the spine. Yeah, that's like... Well, at the very least, you know they're probably good books, because people keep using them and reading them. Probably. It seems impossible for them to still be usable, but if you handle them with care... I make my way to the main desk, where I spot Yuko busying herself with something or another. She smiles at me as I enter and waves. Hello, Hazal. Good to see you again. What are you looking for this time? Nothing in particular, I guess. I just didn't really feel like going back to my room is all. Yuko nods. Well, if you're unoccupied, maybe you can help me look for something. Sure. What do you need? Yuko brings a finger to her lips and looks around furtively. She seems to be looking for eavesdroppers. Come closer! I take a few hesitant steps forward, while feeling distinctly unnerved. Yuko lowers her voice to a confidential whisper. I'm on the trail of the Yamaku cat burglar. The what? Shh. The walls have ears, Hazal. Or they might. But listen, those missing books, remember them? Yeah? Well, they weren't missing. They were stolen. I'm convinced of it. I remember you saying something of the sort earlier. But how do you know? Yuko leans in closer. If possible, whispers even lower. Because I found one of his hiding places. You did what? Yuko looks triumphant. Found one of his stashes. It was under one of the stairwells in the boys' dorm. 3 books I'd been looking for. All 3, all there. I'd suspected a thief before, but this proves it. So did you take back the books? Yuko looks as if I'd suggested she walk around naked. Are you nuts? He can't know I'm onto him. He might go to ground and evade capture. Uh-huh. So what do you need my help with then? Yuko casts another glance around the library and leans in closer. You've got to spy for me. Spy? Yeah, like when you're in the dorms, you know? Keep an eye out for suspicious activity. What constitutes suspicious, anyway? I mean, Kenji's a pretty suspicious dude, but I'll wager he barely goes to class, much less sneaks into the library to pilfer books. Still, what's the harm in saying yes? At the least, it'll get me out of this weird conversation. Yeah, I can do that. No problem. Yuko straightens up and claps excitedly. Great. Now hurry up and talk about something else in case someone comes in. How's the school treating you? Pretty well, actually. I've been running in the mornings with Emiya Barazaki, right? Yeah? How'd you know? I served you 2 in the tea house, remember? I deduced that if you were going to run with anyone, it would probably be her. She looks pleased with herself. Impressive. Anyway, yes. We've been running in the mornings. And, we kind of started dating. Yuko claps her hands together excitedly. Really? That's great. I'll bet you 2 are great together. I love seeing people find one another like that, you know? I even thought to myself, when you walked into the Shanghai that one time, I wonder if that kid will wind up with one of those girls. Really? Yuko doesn't seem to notice my somewhat weirded out tone and nods affirmatively. Yep, I can tell that you'd wind up with one of them, you know? I've got an eye for that sort of thing. Of course. Her expression droops slightly. I'm not so good at it myself. I'm sure that's not true. Oh, it's true. I met this guy once. We got along great, but it turned out he was younger than me. Yeah. And that was kind of weird, but not terribly so. What was really weird is that he disappeared one day, and I've not seen him since then. Huh? That does seem kind of odd. Doesn't it? I hope it wasn't something I did. I feel compelled to reassure her. I'm sure it wasn't. I intend to try to calm her down further, but the both of us jump in surprise at the ringing suddenly coming out of my pocket. Yuko sighs to steady herself as I pull the phone from my pocket. I feel a little sheepish for indirectly causing the incident. Okay, so since this game takes place in, I think, what was it, the early 2010s? It was a flip phone. He's like pulling out of his pocket. It's not like these modern day smartphones where you just do everything. Like, honestly, I don't think this game's frankly, because of how people are nowadays, I don't think this game's story could really work in the modern day. Anyways, Yuko sighs to steady herself as I pull the phone from my pocket. I feel a little sheepish for indirectly causing the incident. Emmy, what's up? Oh, thank God. I haven't called your phone before, so I didn't know this number would work or whether you would pick up, and I can't. Well, there, Emmy, slow down. What's wrong? There's a pause on the other side of the line, during which I can hear Emmy trying to control her breathing in order to calm down. Something's got her terribly agitated, and it's starting to agitate me. Can you stop by? Like, now, or shortly after now? I really, really need to talk to you. There's a tone of pleading in the last sentence that I don't think I've ever heard from her. Of course. I'll be right there. Hold steady, okay? In my increasingly agitated state, I've apparently started saying things that don't quite make sense. Okay, I'll be okay. See you soon. I press the button to end the call before slipping the phone back into my pocket. Apologize to Yuko for running off and run off. Perhaps at some point, I would have stopped to think about the time or how suspicious it looks for a guy to enter the girls' dorm at this hour. Yeah, it's pretty weird. Except right now, I'm just concerned with getting to Emmy and finding out what's wrong and how I can help her. I knock at the door and am greeted with a subdued "come in." Something is very wrong as I stare at the scene before me. Emmy's there, yes, but she's in a wheelchair, and her legs are missing. I glance around the room and see them sitting in a corner, looking like they've been thrown there. Emmy responds to my entrance with a lopsided grin that is both pleased to see me and completely, utterly heartbroken. Hi, Hizao. It looks like she's been crying, but if she was, she stopped now. I noticed that I'm a little out of breath, having taken the stairs two at a time in order to get here. My heart doesn't seem to mind the strain, though. I file this happy fact away for later consideration. Like when I'm not staring somewhat dumbstruck at my girlfriend in a wheelchair. Realizing I've still not responded to her greeting, my brain lurches into gear. Emmy, what happened? I guess I should have listened to you, Izao. My leg's got a nasty infection. I'm not allowed to run on it for at least a couple of weeks. She gives a bitter laugh that shouldn't be coming from her. I can't even walk on it. I could have used a crush and kept one of my legs, but I didn't see the point. Why hop? You can't run on one leg. At least this way I can still, I don't know, roll fast or something? Yeah, that's good, right? My awkward attempt to look on the bright side seems appreciated, but not really effective. Emmy shrugs again. It's just kind of a nuisance. I mean, we can't even eat up on the roof now, no wheelchair access. Yeah, but that's not a big deal, right? I mean, we can still eat together, and that's the important thing. That lopsided grin again. It hurts to look at. I suppose so, yeah. But like I said, it's a nuisance. I mean, I haven't really used a wheelchair in... She thinks a minute. Maybe 7 years? Something like that anyway. A long time. I'm afraid I'm a bit out of practice. Well, fortunately, it's only temporary, right? Emmy nods. Oh yeah, of course. It's not like I've lost him permanently. but it's a pain in the ass all the same. I nod sympathetically. There's not much I can do. There's not much else I can do after all. What am I gonna what am I gonna do? Say I told you so? Although I did tell her to get that leg looked at. But by the time I noticed, it was too late anyway. Do you need help with anything? That is, can I help with anything? Emmy shakes her head, but there's a bit of a, but a, Emmy shakes her head, but there's a bit of her usual grin back. Nah, I can manage fine by myself. Although if you want to help me over to my bed, it would save me the trouble of rolling over there myself. Okay. Now I don't know if the Steam version is okay, okay. You know what? Okay, so what I'm gonna do is if we reach any of the adult scenes, what I'll do is I will cut them out, right? However, if the Steam version is censored, I'll keep it all in. All right. I blush in spite of myself. Emmy giggles. You're such a prude, Hizao. I'm not a prude. I just wouldn't want to take advantage of a young woman such as yourself. It's ungentlemanly. I wheel Emmy's chair to her bed and easily scoop her up and deposit her there. She quickly sorts herself out and sits on the side. She's actually a little heavier than she looks. It would be rude of me to observe this aloud, of course. Man, you're kinda heavy. Smack! Emmy hits me with a pillow. Ass. Just saying is all. Must be all that running. At the mention of running, Emmy's grin falters slightly. Heh. Well, I guess I won't have to worry about that for a bit, huh? Maybe I'll lose some weight. That's what you do to lose weight, right? Cease physical activity? I'm pretty sure that's what the nurse would recommend. I mean, in all honesty, the best way to lose weight is eat healthy, right? And eat less. However, I guess it's pretty good too. Like, keep in mind, I'm an American, so like everything out here is unhealthy. So, anyways, speaking of which, are you going to still be showing up in the mornings? I'd hate to run a low. Ah, shit. Emmy's sudden interjection, more of a disquieted muttering than anything too profane, causes me to look over in shock. She's leaning forward, trying to cover the fact she's been crying by covering her eyes with a hand. Of course, the subdued sobbing makes it pretty obvious that she's crying. Hey, I'm sorry. Forget I said anything, okay? I place a hand gingerly around her and pull her close. I can think of nothing else to say or do. How do you comfort someone who's just lost their legs again? Emmy wraps me in a hug and stays that way for a while. Sorry. I'm pretty bad at this whole comforting thing, I guess. Don't say that. I'm fine, really. Her voice is slightly muffled by my chest, and I pat her head reassuredly. That's a spirit, right? You'll get through this fine, I know it. Besides, I'm here to help you, remember? Emmy lifts her head and stares at me with tear-stained eyes. Can you? Can you really? She's grinning lopsidedly, and something sparkles in her gaze. I can't tell if I'm being mocked or not. Of course, I mean, sure, you're a bit heavy, but... My witty comment is cut off by the sudden press of Emmy's lips on mine. I'm caught off guard, and I'm rewarded by hitting my head on the wall behind her bed. Ow! Emmy pulls back, trying to look concerned rather than she's about to laugh. Are you okay? Sorry. I rub my head ruefully and grin back at her. Caught me off guard there. Is that going to become a habit? Am I going to be lectured by Shizune and Misha more? At the mention of the duo, Emmy giggles. Honestly, those two. If I didn't know why, I'd be utterly confused as why she hangs around with someone so bossy. Which one are we talking about? You know exactly which one, Hizao. Misha's hardly bossy. So that's the reason then. Huh? The reason why Misha hangs out with Shizune? Emmy waves my question off with a smile. No idea. I see. Anyway, you seem to be forgetting the original question, don't you? Yeah, guess I am. You wouldn't mind giving a guy like me a little warning, would you? Otherwise, I'm liable to wind up with a concussion. I emphasize the point by rubbing the back of my head. Emmy giggles madly. You could wear a helmet. Some kids here do, you know. I mean, that's true. Or I could just take revenge. Oh. I grab a pillow from beside me and whack Emmy over the head. Emmy topples off the bed and lands on the floor with a thump. Her arms promptly reappear on the bed. She manages to pull herself back up. She really has a surprising amount of strength in that little body. Her face is turned downwards and away from mine, making me think I might have accidentally hurt her. Emmy, you okay? I didn't hurt you. A hand shoots up, grabs my collar, pulls me in with a sharp tug. Her face now barely an inch away from mine as she grins cheekily. Emmy? She gives me a sharp headbutt. Our foreheads making quite a loud thud. Vicious. I sit back and rub my now sore head as Emmy smirks victoriously. How's that for revenge? No fair. You can't take revenge for revenge. For someone missing most of her legs, Emmy's surprisingly agile. I swipe at her, but she definitely rolls out of the way and lands a hit with her pillow. Of course, the odds are against her. I can stand up for starters. Oof! Okay, what's going on? I don't remember this. Wait, hold on. Okay. Did they censor that scene there? With was that a pomegranate? I think that was a pomegranate. I'm not. Wait, was that a cantaloupe? What fruit was that? Anyways, well, I think I'm going to save here, and then I'll stop recording this episode and then start recording the next episode in a bit because I need to get something to eat. I forgot breakfast. So yeah, just save. There you go. So the Steam version is censored, so I don't have to do any weird cuts or anything like that, which is good. So have a nice day.